October the 7th, the horrendous murdering of innocent Jewish people and the barbarity of it, the sheer brutality and ugliness of it is out of all proportion to even our normal understandings of terrorism, I would have thought, the gloating over it and all the rest of it. You say that anti-Semitism was on the rise before this, but that event gave it the trigger it needed to set off a real explosion.
That's absolutely right, John. I mean, I think when you look at that event, I think we've become so desensitised to violence now that you can say 1,200 people die, they think it's just a number. When Hamas says that they want to wipe Jews off the face of the earth, we need to believe them. And the fact that they had body cameras on them as they were committing atrocities, they weren't going through and killing people like some Stallone movie. They were going through and dismembering bodies. They were raping women, rapes that academics and Greens candidates have denied in this country ever occurred, and the feminist movement has downplayed. There were parents who were sitting having breakfast and were forced to watch their children being murdered and dismembered. Babies were captured, caged and killed. Holocaust survivors were shipped off and taken hostages. And then when the bodies of the deceased were paraded through the streets of Gaza by Hamas, they were spat on and jeered at by ordinary Gazans. And this is just an extraordinary tragedy, an extraordinary pogrom that occurred on that day on October 7, 2023. And the barbaric depravity, the intentionality of Hamas in committing this and in wanting people to see exactly what they had done is one of the most extraordinary things that I think the world has witnessed in recent times. And yet, despite the fact that the Jewish people who are living their lives in the south of Israel, people who are attending a music concert, young people like young Australians would attend a music concert, people living in communities which had actually gone out of their way to try and make peace with Gazans, to try and do intercommunal peace work. These were the people that were slaughtered on October 7. And yet even before the Israeli response, there was this triggering of hatred against Israel, not just in this country but right around the world. And protests like those that we saw at the Sydney Opera House, like those that we saw in Western Sydney, but it became even more sinister than those things. There were people driving around the streets of Melbourne looking for Jews to kill on the days after October 7.
Were they?
Absolutely. There were people who boarded trains going around and asking people were they Jewish. It was almost an excuse in some parts of our community, sadly, to turn on a switch to say, right, there's a hate crime committed against Jews overseas, we should look to do the same thing here, or we should seize the chance to send a message that no Jew is safe. That's an extraordinary thing, and it's a terrible thing in this country, which has been a refuge for Jews from the very first day of European settlement.